Hi, this is Cherrie, and you're watching Media Spotlight UK. Ljuset, tända, de som lämnar inga nämnda, men aldrig någonsin glömda. Änglarna från Västerort, Swedish känns som mera vingar, de har gett mig luft.
Hello, this is Calum Di Lieto from Media Spotlight UK, and we are here with Cherrie, the Swedish Somalian R&B songstress. I mean, whew. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. Do you know what? On the way here, I was just listening to Sheridan, and it just got me feeling some kind of ways, you know?
Yeah?
I was loving it, you know, just on the train, like, because R&B is one of those genres that, like, on a commute.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh.
Definitely.
So I was just there, and then I'm just like, woo! People looking at me on the train like, what is he listening to? But I tell you, it's absolutely amazing.
Well, thank you, I appreciate it.
But I mean, I'm really curious about you as a person, because you're just, you know, this unique combination of things like Swedish, Somalian, you know, R&B, you know, all of these things don't naturally come together, you know?
No.
So how did they with you?
It's weird because I was born in Norway.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in Finland. Moved to Sweden in 2000. So I've been there for like 18 years now. 18 years is 2018. And, you know, growing up, I don't know, I'm Somali. There's a lot of Somali people in Sweden just like here. And we're very, you know, we're nomads. We're everywhere. In every country, you'll find Somali people in China, in Turkey. And I don't know, like growing up, we moved around a lot. And I live in a place called Rinkeby where there's like hundreds of different nationalities. All my friends, like the girls that I dedicated my first album to, like they're Chilean, from Iraq, from Persian, Eritrean. There's everything in there, and I feel like these are the things that made my music work internationally as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I guess it's just life. But like I've had so much different impressions, and I think the one thing I did right with my music is the fact that I wasn't afraid to use all of my, you know, impressions and what I've grown up with culturally, to use that in my music. Even if it's like deep rooted in R&B, what I love. And like my love for R&B came from living in Finland in a small village. I wasn't exposed to a lot of the music that I loved. I wasn't even exposed to like black culture at all. There weren't any black people where I lived. So growing up seeing MTV and more, and seeing Aaliyah wearing like cool clothes and Brandy singing, and you know, girls that look like me, I think that's what gave me my first love for music, because it was an escape from the loneliness back there. So yeah.
Well, that's some great inspiration there, like Aaliyah, Brandy, you know, More Than a Woman, you know, that sort of inspirational, powerful
and
stuff.
Seeing that, you know, girls that were taking spaces in such an elegant way, knowing that I was so shy, but it was like living there, I was always looking to get out of there and be like, I want to be like them. What is this? Where is this that I see on TV? I want to be there. And then when we moved to Sweden is a lot more open for cultures like that. So coming there, I was exposed to so much music that I loved, so I really like took it in, and it became a part of me.
Well, it's funny you mentioned about Sweden, because like I've always had this perception, and I think it is officially declared like the safest city in the world, safest country in the world, and then the issues that you talk about, you know, sort of gun crime and some sort of serious, more like pressing issues, like you just wouldn't expect that with Sweden. So it's quite awakening for the audience.
Definitely. I mean, you know what the thing is, Sweden is a safe place, but that tells you a lot about the state right now in the world. See, if that's happened, because it's literally a crisis now in Sweden. Like where I live, you have like young boys, like 4 of them dying every month, and that's a lot for a country with 9 million people. That's less people than there's in London. So and the area I'm from, it's like 40,000 people there. It's not it's not a big place. So for that to happen in Sweden, in the safest country in the world, kind of just tells you the state of the world overall. Like, I don't think this is a problem that's happening just in Sweden. It's happening in different countries in different scales. But I think having me telling the story and that narrative kind of makes you understand the bigger picture, that okay, if this is happening in Sweden, what's happening in all the other countries that are not as safe, and just
exactly.
like it's yeah. So I think that's the like perspective that's interesting about it.
And I guess if you've been living in Sweden so long, but obviously you have the Somalian heritage and you obviously speak English perfectly well. So what's your first language? What's the one you think in?
Well, I think in Swedish.
Okay.
I before that used to be Finnish.
Yeah.
But I moved from there when I was quite young. I speak a lot of Somali, of course, at home, and but English. Now I'm getting into the English because I just started writing music in English again. So I don't know. It's they're all like, I know all of them very well, but I think Swedish is the
Multi-talented. See,
thank you.
I know English and slang. That's about it. And I don't even know them very well. It's crazy as well because you sing in Swedish, and I think you would have thought that wouldn't be able to be listened to internationally, but it's not damaging you in any way, shape or form. And I think especially with like R&B, like you feel it without having to know the words.
Exactly. I think me doing R&B, and not just that, like I told you earlier, because when I was a kid, I grew up watching Bollywood movies, like Hindi movies, and back then they didn't have subtitles, so we would fall in love with these movies and watch them like 800 times. And after a while you just know by the way they're talking and acting that something's going on, and that gave me a sense of using emotions or the way you pronounce things in music to all these different impressions that's made me internationally accepted, even though it's in a language no one understands. Being Somali, growing up in Scandinavian culture, and then UK music, just like taking different aspects of everything is what makes it this, I guess. But also the fact that R&B is very feelings based, like there's a lot of emotions in it, so you can, like, I've heard a lot of my supporters from overseas, they always say like, I can't understand anything you're saying, but I can feel it, and that's like the biggest compliment ever, because I really try to make it understandable through emotions.
Well, 100%, I agree.
So,
As I said, I was listening to Ren. I don't speak Swedish, but you could feel it, and you could feel like from the tone and the melody, and
that's amazing.
It all comes together. But you mentioned there briefly sort of the UK, and obviously Stormzy has been involved with yourself. Even featured on one of your tracks, and I thought that was great as well, because you had this Swedish soulfulness, and then in comes this grime artist, and adds a different dimension. But
definitely.
What was it like with him?
It was an amazing thing. Like, I've had the blessing of working with people that I really look up to, because I met Stormzy the first time he had a show in Stockholm, and like it was me, my team, and his team. We just chilled for like a couple of days. We were in the studio, we recorded some stuff, or he recorded some stuff, and we went out together, went to the show. I performed as a special guest on his show in Stockholm, and it was funny because it started with him just becoming a fan of that song. Like, he was like, Cherrie, you need to send me this song. Like, I had already done the song, but it wasn't out yet, and so we had it for like 7 months. And then after like a couple of months, because we stayed in touch on like social media and whatnot, and one day I just found the guts to ask him like, yo, do you want to do a verse? And he was like, I would love to. And I was like, what? Is this really happening? And then we came here to London, and he did the verse, and it was so amazing. Like you said, like, he added another dimension to it. But why I really like respect him, he didn't have to do that, because it's not something that would was that he didn't have to. It was just out of love for music and wanting to support an independent artist that he believes in. Even like after that, bringing me on tour with him and Lethal Bizzle, like I grew up listening to Lethal Bizzle, so it was just weird for me to be around Europe doing this. But it's the thing where when someone's real and genuine about their artistry, they really appreciate art that they like and are willing to push it in the right direction and support it. So I always he's always gonna be like one of those people that I know were there for me musically from the beginning, and I'm very appreciative of that.
You mentioned the performing sort of on tour with him around Europe, and we've talked about how anyone can kind of listen to it, maybe on their in their headphones, just by themselves, they can listen to your music. But what's it like interacting with an audience that maybe doesn't understand you? How do they respond to you in a live scenario?
I think that tour did so much for me in that sense. Like, just I thought it taught me a lot about how to control a crowd. That certain stuff is just up to you, and the energy really transcends, and whatever you give them, they'll give you back, even if they don't understand. And of course, like, that's where you kind of have to be kind of smart and use the middle talks to reel them in and kind of give a little bit of a backstory and say some cheeky stuff so they kind of dig your personality from the get-go. So then when you're doing a song, it's like, I don't know what the fuck she's saying, but the shit bangs. And it was because, imagine, I'm an R&B singer that sings kind of lightly and feathery, and then you have these two great grime artists, and I'm going on before them, and there's gonna be people that want to do mosh pits in the crowd. But we made it happen. Like, every show went so well, and it was such a great learning experience for me, because now when I went overseas and done shows in the States, that learning from that really helped me to know, okay, you don't understand what I'm saying, you probably don't know who I am, but when you get out of here, I'm gonna make sure that you're gonna remember me, and you're gonna be like, I don't even care what she's like, if I don't understand, this shit's lit.
Nice. That's what, and I guess as an independent artist, that's what it's all about. And it must be, it's amazing that you've managed to do all of this independently.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Literally, it's gut feeling, believing in your craft and a good team. The people around me, even my latest single, 163, it went a little bit viral on Twitter, but really and truly, that's all it could have been. But I have a manager that knows what he went on viral to. I'm gonna send this to Beats One, I'm gonna send this to Apple, I'm gonna make everyone knows about it, so when we go to America, they're gonna just coordinate everything so it becomes even bigger than it was. I've had a great team that really believe in what we're doing, and being independent has given me so much creative freedom. I can release whatever I want when I want it. I can go, there's a pressure that's on artists that's on labels. If an artist on a label had the success 163 had, they would have been okay, now you go in and do an album with 10 songs like that. But that's not what we do. We go off of energy, and if you have a great team, and if you believe in what you're doing and you're working hard enough for it, you could definitely do it independently. Definitely.
Well, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what else is in store.
I am too. And now I'm releasing stuff from my own label as well, which is pretty sick.
So what is on the horizon? What is 2018?
I'm releasing my album soon, in a couple of months, and a couple of singles. Hopefully do a mini world tour. And just keep expanding. I wanna hopefully going further into it, maybe sign some people and create a creative space for younger R&B artists, because there's not there's great R&B artists in Sweden, but they're not big. I don't really want to create a space for that. I know that there's a lot of good music coming out of Sweden. We just need to create room for it. So
well, thank you so much for speaking with us. Really appreciate you taking the time with us, and good luck with the future. And I can't wait to hear more from your new album.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Vilken 9 to 5, låt mig leva life.
förstår vi alla kan. Vi alla kan. It takes